Hello the internet, my name's Laura and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a little flashback thing in that I am going to do my top 5 houseplants of January. That's right, I know it's February now, but these are plants that I was super enjoying. Just like I look at them and they just give me joy that I have them. Sometimes it means that they're growing really well. Sometimes it means that they're just super easy to take care of. You know, there's a bunch of different reasons, and I'll get into the different reasons when I go to each of the 5 houseplants. I don't know if I want to. I don't know if this is in any particular order. I should probably say that this is in no particular order. I'm just going to pick them up, and then we're just going to look at them. Okay? All right, so the first plant that I am picking up, it does not mean it's number 1 or number 5. Philodendron Birkin. That's right. This plant I have had for a decent amount of time now. I got it when it had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 leaves or so, and now it has more. But anyway, this plant was actually sent to me by my friend Jerry from Planting Memories. Since he lives in the UK and I live in the US, he actually had to buy this off of a US store so that they could ship it to me and we didn't have to deal with customs and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, he knew that I had wanted a Birkin, and so he got me this one. And then it put out, I think it put out this leaf. And then after that it put out this leaf, which is really cool because it's got a little bit of extra variegation on there. And then that leaf came out, and then now this new leaf is coming out, and it is like super white and super pretty looking. And that is just absolutely gorgeous. So this guy has been growing really easily. I mean, I like water it, it grows. I mean, most philodendrons are like that. Philodendrons are fairly easy plants to take care of, and you know what? I appreciate that sometimes, because this winter has been just kind of with a lot of my plants, especially my begonias, where they're just like, where they die? They're not that's not true. They're not dying. They're just like, a lot of the leaves are crisping, but they're putting out new leaves, which means I don't know what's wrong with them. So they're not dying, but they're just, it's like stressful. But anyway, this Philodendron Birkin has not been giving me any stress at all. It has just been growing and being beautiful and not having any pests and putting out beautiful leaves. So I'm so happy that I have this plant, because I can just look at it and be like, I know you're fine. Do you need water? Okay, I will give you water. And if you don't need water, okay, you are sitting there looking beautiful. It's very nice. All right, so Philodendron Birkin. If you don't have one, and you can find one at a decent price, they can be a little pricey sometimes, but just as a note though, especially, the younger Philodendron Birkins will not have a lot of white on their leaves. Like, they'll come in and be like, see how like all the older leaves here have a lot more green on them? It's only more recently that the ones that have been getting the white. So if you want to buy a younger plant because they're cheaper, it will eventually start to grow white on it. You just have to wait a little while. And since they're easy growers, it's not that big of a deal, but that's a little tip for you. And then I guess, since Jerry actually sent me 2 plants when he sent me the thing, and the other plant is actually in my top 5 right now. This guy has been a little roller coaster. This is Begonia Dragai Glasgow. You might be more familiar with 3 of the more more common? I don't know. Popular? I'm not even sure what the term is, but you know, you have your cane / fibrous begonias, you have your rhizomatous begonias, and you have your Rex begonias. So those are the 3 that most people are familiar with. This is a Dragai, which is, it's more of a, I don't want to say succulent, but succulent type begonia, in that the trunk, the stem gets really, get out of the way, leaf, gets really thick, and on the bigger ones, you actually get like a bonsai-like trunk. Like you actually get like a tree-like trunk when it gets bigger. This is not a plant that I knew that I wanted, but Jerry saw it, and he knows that I love begonias. He knows I love begonias that are interesting, like interesting shaped leaves. And so he sent this to me, and within a couple of months of having it, it got powdery mildew, which they're apparently susceptible to. I sprayed fungicide on it, and almost all the leaves just died. I started watering it from the bottom. It came back. And then one time when I was putting it on my shelf over here, I have my light prints. I have this guy who's been growing pretty big. And one of the times I put this down, and I put it down so that this trail went right on top of the begonia. And I didn't notice for a whole bunch of days. And so it got squished under there. It wasn't getting any light. I think I forgot to water it because it was like hidden under there. And I pulled it out, and it had like gone floppy and yellow and just... And I'm like, oh my God. So I watered it, and it started to perk back up because part of it was just that it didn't have water. And then I fertilized it because of the green leaves, and it jumped back in a big way. It's looking great now. I'm so happy because I seriously like this plant. But even though I've been having trouble with this plant, the things that I have tried in order to fix it, I've always been like successful with, I guess. So like, it's very resilient, I guess. And so I really appreciate that. And it's so cute. I mean, is that not just the cutest? It is very much the cutest. And I love this plant, and I'm so happy to see it get bigger, and you know, I want it to be, I even have like dreams, like lofty dreams of one day turning it into a bonsai, because this type of begonia you could actually do that with. But I don't know how, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into it, because like bonsai seem like a lot of work, but it might be like, I have to see how much work it actually is. Because I think part of it is just you have to put it in the shallow pot. You have to like, you know, trim it and then make sure that the leaves are going. This is without any knowledge of bonsai except like what I've just picked up from, and shape it and like blah, blah, blah. But then I assume part of it is just letting it grow. So it might not be as much work as it seems like, and it might be more work. I don't know. But anyway, maybe one day I will do that, but not until spring. When I can get some of these plants back outside so that they're happy again. Yes, I know. I'm doing actually, I think, fairly well for all things considered. So anyway, Begonia Dragai Glasgow. If you are interested in kind of a more unique type of begonia, or I don't want to say rare, but like the type that a lot of people don't really have, you can look up the Dragai type. And there's a bunch of different like species of it. This one just happens to be small with green leaves and white spots. So, okay, so this begonia was also from a friend. Okay, not all of these were from friends. I was like, are they all from friends? This is Begonia Pink Minks. And this is a plant that I saw somewhere online. I don't know if it was a video or a picture, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have this plant. It's got very unique, nice looking leaves. They are like pink. I mean, like, this is just pink. It's a cane type begonia, so in general, fairly easy to take care of as far as begonias go. And I put out a wish list, which you can obviously go look at. It's outdated now, but I put out a wish list that said that I really wanted this, and my friend went on Steve's Leaves, which is one of the places I know they have it, but the way that they restock, they don't always have all the plants. And she happened to go on there on the Friday that they restocked the pink minks, and I didn't. And she bought it for me. And it came in, and it has been growing fairly well the entire time. It came in a little rough. The leaves were kind of damaged a little bit. I've been having a little bit of problems. I think I've been underwatering it a little bit, and so some of the leaves are kind of going a little yellow and crispy like this, but I'm fairly certain that that's almost exclusively because I let it dry out too much. But other than that, it's been doing so well. And even the little flowers, I don't really like flowers on begonias in the most part, but these ones, they're just like little teardrops. Like it comes down and then it's like a little flower. They're just so pretty. Like everything about this plant, I just love, love, love. And easy care plant. Finding one, I don't know how easy they are to find in particular. But there are plenty of other pink begonia types that you can find if you can't, find this one in particular. Or you can keep your eye out for it. I actually got my Benny Tochiba the week before my friend got that for me. I saw the Benny Tochiba on Steve's leaves, and I went ahead and got it because it's got a really unique flower shape, and it's got the pink leaves, and I was like, well, I'm never going to find the pink minks, so let me just go ahead and get this. And I got this, and then my friend got that for me. And I love this one too, but it's one of those things, if you can't find a particular, that's what I like about begonias, there's so many different ones of them that it almost doesn't matter, unless you're one of those people who's like, I have to have this particular one. There's ones that you can find that have kind of the look of the one that you want, even if you can't find that particular one, or if you're looking for that one for a really long time. So, Begonia Pink Minks is one of my top 5 houseplants for January. Okay, and then we're gonna do this guy, which I just watered, so it's gonna drip a little bit of water, but that's okay. All right, so this is my Primula Wongs party dress, and I'm like kind of in love with all of my Primulinas. They're really all great. This one in particular was kind of interesting because it came in and they were green leaves with a whole bunch of silver on there, like much of the leaf is silver. And then after I had it for a couple months, I started noticing that the hairs, because these leaves are kind of hairy, it's not a really soft hair, but the hairs all around the edges of the leaves were turning purple. And I'm like, well, that's kind of interesting, that's kind of a unique little thing. And then after another couple of months, the tops of the leaves started going purple. And I'm pretty sure that it's a sun stress thing. I have it under a grow light, but apparently that grow light is strong enough that actually most of the Primulinas that I have get this sun stress on them. I have another one that kind of gets red hairs. That one gets really purple on the back of them. Like they all have some sort of a sun stress. And they all flower in basically this color and shape, but these flowers on this particular plant are just slightly daintier, and cuter. Like the other ones are a little bit longer. They're like maybe that long. These ones are just so adorable and cute that I've really just been enjoying just looking at this plant. And then sometimes you can see the little flower stalks come out. They have to get themselves out from under these leaves sometimes. And then they come up and they're kind of curled because they have to straighten themselves back out. It's really, really cute. Oh, and Primulinas themselves are actually in the same family as African violets. So they like to be bottom watered. They like to have bright indirect light. They don't like water on their leaves. They're flowering type. I got interested in these because all of them have, not all of them, a lot of them have unique silver patterns on their leaves. And African violets, the flowers are pretty, but in a lot of cases, the leaves are just, you know, you grow those for their flowers. And I like Primulinas because you can grow them for their leaves and their flowers if you want to. I don't particularly care whether they're flowering or not. I mean, it's cute, but you know, I'm more of a leaf foliage type person. But anyway, this Primulina has been bringing me joy. This is Wong's party dress. There are a bunch of different species of Primulinas out there. In the United States, at least, they're starting to become a little bit more common. I know in Britain, in the UK, they're still really expensive and not so hard, or not so easy to find. But hopefully that's going to change. You know, and if you see one, I mean, they're really easy to take care of. You put them in some light, you water them from the bottom when they're dry. They're not particularly like, they don't die very quickly if you forget to water them for a couple of days. They're pretty hardy in that way. A really, really easy plant to take care of, and fairly rewarding because they do flower and they have just the really pretty patterns on their foliage. So, okay, so that was number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the last one. Okay, I admit I left this one until last on purpose. I love this plant. I love this plant. Long time viewers already know which plant I'm pulling out. It's that plant. Yes, it is. This is my Begonia Breakdance. This is a rhizomatous type begonia. It grows from a rhizome, which is right here, and then the new leaves come off of there. I have had this plant for a really long time now. This is one of the older plants that I have that I bought in this most recent, like my most recent plant obsession. I've always had plants, but I would kind of get bored with them, and then like a lot of them would die. There's a couple plants that I still have from like when I was younger, but I only more recently got into like plants more seriously. I never had this. But anyway, this plant, I got this from a local nursery. I went, it's about an hour away, so I don't go very often, but I walked in and they had this beautiful display of begonias, and I saw this one and I was like, I know that I'm getting this. And it was, you know, it was a good price. It wasn't super expensive or any of that kind of stuff. But I just had to have it, and it's always been a fairly good grower. I didn't put it in enough light for a while, because I always heard that begonias they do well in low light. I put all my begonias are under grow lights now. I didn't have them under grow lights for a while, and they never really did anything. And I started putting them under grow lights, and they're so much happier. So if you have begonias, don't put them, you know, in a low light area. You want, you know, bright indirect light for these guys. Or at least most of them. I'm sure there's some that don't really need all the light or whatever, but like a lot of them really, really appreciate the extra light. But as I said, I really like interestingly shaped leaves. So these leaves are so stiff that whenever I move it, I end up like damaging it a little. When this leaf here actually damaged itself while it was coming out. I didn't even touch that. It's just the leaves are so stiff that they kind of get caught and, you know, whatever. But I almost feel like it adds to the charm because these leaves are just so unique shaped in the first place. But I just love the color. I love the color. I love the shape. I love the little swirls that they have here. I love the red and green on the back sides of them, and this is like one of my all-time favorite plants, this Begonia Breakdance. Like, you know, if zombie apocalypse and I could only grab 5 plants, this would be one of the first ones I would grab. I'd probably have to think a little bit too long about the rest of them and then I'd get caught by the zombies, but this one at least I know would be one of the first ones I would grab. So, you know, whenever I see this one, it now has a very prominent place, You probably see it in a lot of my videos because it's sitting right there. But I just love this. I love this begonia so much. Love it. It's just, yeah. So anyway, those are my top 5 plants for the month of January. Those are plants that have just been bringing me joy in this of a year. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. So, you know, tell me which one of those you like the best, or which one of these you have, or which one of these you'd really like to get if you can find them. I'd love to hear from you guys. You know, tell me what plants have been bringing you joy recently. Because, you know, plants are, if nothing else, there for us to make us happy. I mean, you know, people don't keep plants because they make them miserable. At least I hope you're not keeping plants because they make you miserable. Hopefully you are keeping plants because you love them and they bring you joy and they're not too much of a hassle. I know, they can be a little bit of a hassle sometimes. When you have this many, sometimes it's a little bit of a hassle, but you still have those ones that just bring you joy and you just look at them and you're like, oh, you know? So, if you liked this video, go ahead and like this video. If you would like to see more of my plants and more of my plant maintenance and all that kind of stuff, go ahead and subscribe so you can stick around and catch those videos. And thank you guys so much for spending some of your time with me today. I will see you all in the next video. All right, bye-bye.